Welcome to our today's session. The session is more about the global medical career options after MBBS, the gateway to your post-graduation education, which you are looking forward in your future. So for an example, understand one thing. Since you are in your medical school or you'll be joining your medical school or you are in the mid of your medical school, once you complete your MBBS, it is important for you to understand where you'll be gonna land at next. Because once you complete your medical graduation, you will have to get your medical licensure from any of the country. Either the country where you are staying right now or a country where you are planning to go back. All right. So somebody will be joining from Georgia or from Russia. They might have to come back to India or they'll be settling back into Georgia. But what else an opportunity you have? You have an opportunity to settle in America, Australia, Canada, United Kingdom, and these are basically the English-speaking countries where we can settle very easily. So what is the procedure? How we can get into it? So let us get an understanding on that. So I have certain countries which I had made myself and made an annotation how you can define a difference between what to choose from now to coming time. Okay, so we have the first and the foremost country, that is India, the loved one. Then we have America, that is USA. Then we have UK, Australia, Canada, and the New Zealand. So these are mostly, we can say that English speaking countries, or likely they know the English very well. So what happened is, once anybody looking forward for their career plan in India, let us understand what kind of an examinations are there. So for India, recently you guys have know about the India has made the changes in the norms, and now they have made a new education system through which they have designed an examination called as National Exit Test. So this National Exit Test is more likely to be a licensing examination. Based on this license exam, you are authorized to practice in India. And later on, if you have a merit score, then you will be getting into the postgraduate position in India. But this will be commonly going to start by 2027. Means a student who joined the medical school in 2021 probably going to write this examination, or by 2022. Now, those who joined in 2018, 17, 19 or 20, they will be straight appearing into the NEET-PG for the postgraduate exam, and another one, something called as FMGE. Okay. So that is a foreign medical graduate examination, which is for the license in India. In America, for the postgraduate and the licensure, both you need to give only one examination, that is called USMLE. So USMLE is basically, there are the stages of USMLE exams like 1, 2, and 3. You have to complete all of those 3 to get into the licensure and the postgraduate training in America. For UK, that's very exciting because I have seen a lot of students are so much, curious to know about UK procedure. It's commonly easy and all. So you have to understand one examination is called as UKMLA. Okay. This UKMLA is for the licensure. If you wanted to get the license in UK, you have to write this UKMLA. And then there is a separate part that is called MRCP, Masters in Royal Colleges of Physicians. Basically, what happened in UK, they are having the 5 core competency. Out of this 5 core competency, or we called it so-called as specialization, there are 5 characteristics. One is medicine, second one is surgery, third one is radiology, fourth one is obs-gynae, and fifth one is pediatrics. So for each specialization, you have a different exam. If you wanted to go to surgery, you have MRCS, sorry. If you are going forward for radiology, you have MRCR. If you are going ahead with pediatrics, you have MRCPCH. Okay, and if you are looking forward for obs-gynae, that is for MRCOG. So you have to understand each exam has different set of plans, different set of levels, different set of competitions, and so on. And we have a new one, which is a new trending destination we called as, that is Australian Medical Council, AMC. They usually conduct in two partition examination. All right. Then we have Canada. Canada is like they have an examination called as MCCQE. Okay. And there is one more examination called as MCCEE. So the evaluation examination, EE stands for license and QE stands for postgraduate exam. And then we have New Zealand NZREX. This is a license path to get into the New Zealand as a medical practitioner. Now, as we talk about license to practice, in India, after completion of next and MBBS, like the next examination and MBBS or FMG examination plus MBBS, you are entitled to get a license to practice independently in India. Whereas in America, it is completely different. You have to do residency in USA. And that is possible after completion of your USMLE. Okay. At least 2 steps. So in America, the concept is different. They want you to be postgraduate qualified to practice in America. In India, it is based on undergraduation. You can just get a practice. But in America, it is based on your postgraduate training program. Whereas if talk about UK, so after MBBS and UKMLA, you are entitled to get the license to practice in UK. That is GMC registration. Okay, just a second. And then we have Australia, that is AMC, Australian Medical Council. Again, the same. After MBBS, you have to attain the AMC examination. Some part of work experience is required, and then you can work as an independent physician. Then we have Canada. So Canada, as I told you, to get into the residency is different, but just to get the licensure, you need to give the MCCEE exam. To get the residency, you have to give MCCQE exam, and after residency only plus MCCQE along with MCCEE, you are entitled to practice in Canada. So you have 2 different exam, additional 1 residency, then you will be able to work in Canada. And then we have New Zealand. So New Zealand is completely, I can say it's a complicated. People usually not go. Last year results are very poor. So need to secure a pre-vocational PGY1 training and qualify NZREX clinical exam, which held in New Zealand itself. Okay. Now let us talk about the exam type. How exactly this examination gonna happen? So next, if we usually talk about, because most of you are at that stage, they'll be writing the next examination. So that will be completely MCQ based, the part 1, and part 2 is clinical assessment, which will be happen in the hospital itself. USA, USMLE is all are MCQ based. Okay, all are computer based examination. For UKMLA, part 1 and part 2 are like, part 1 is basically MCQ based and the part 2 is a clinical based. Okay. And part 2 even have 2 examination. One is clinical, one is non-clinical. Then we have AMC part 1, again MCQ, and part 2 is a clinical. It is look likely the UKMLA same. So we can say that UKMLA, Australia and India, they are likely same with each other. Okay. And then we have Canada. So for Canada, all are MCQ based examinations. And then we have New Zealand. New Zealand, again, I told you it's a very complicated and different perspective of getting into the system. So you have to clear at least USMLE or UKMLA or AMC within the 5 years if you are planning to go get into the NZREX clinical exam. This is a basic eligibility to get into it. Okay. Now, examination competitiveness. It's a competition. So in India, it's completely high. You are an FMG, foreign medical graduate, or you are an Indian medical graduate. You have to understand you are competing with AIMS. You are competing with the top medical institutes in India, which are government medical institutes. You are competing with the top private institutes like KMCs, that JNMC, Belgaum, and so and so. So these are the students who are very well versed with the system. They are having a very great records. Their medical school itself has a very great record, and that's what you have to fight with them. So you have to understand whether you are good fit to fight with such people or not. Okay, because the seats are limited, we all know. In America, the admission competition is limited for IMGs, international medical graduates. Basically, the thing is, if I say last year, like 2024, 68% students got successful admission as an international medical graduate. 18,000 plus applicants applied, out of which somewhat around 12,900, which is equivalent to 13,000 almost, got placements. Okay. Then if we talk about UK, again, it's a average competition. Okay, because once you clear UKMLA, you will get an opportunity to at least work for 1 or 2 years in UK, through which you will be, throughout the time you'll be practicing the MRCP exams and then you'll be clearing, which is quite possible. Okay, but it is a time-consuming examination. It takes your time. AMC, it is quite hard. Honestly, it's hard. AMC Part 2 result is only 40% year on year. 35 to 40%. That's a real fact, which you can even see on the YouTube channels, on your official sites. Okay. And super hard, the practical exam one. So for that, you need to at least have a work experience of 2 years in Australia. If you had worked at least for 2-3 years in Australia in any of the setting, then we can expect that you will be having an opportunity to clear this exam very easily. Canada, Canada, in terms of education, it is not hard, but in terms of allocation of seat, the way in India has. India examination is good, people able to clear, not a big problem. The big problem is seats allocation. The same way the problem is with the problem is with the Canada. There's a very limited number of seats for Indian or international medical graduates. For Australia, for New Zealand, I already told you what is the challenge. The challenge is earlier you have to clear the competitive exam, then you have to clear the clinical exam, and then you'll be entering into the system of New Zealand. Then let us talk about some career options. What will happen if I jump into India? Where exactly I see my career, how easy to get enter into it, and how my career is going to drive. So you have to score on the merit and the multiple examination layer. For NEET UG, you guys have written the NEET UG. For NEET UG, you have appeared for this MBBS. But for postgraduate, you have this NEET-PG. Again, for super specialization, there is something called as NEET-SS. So you have the layer of examinations, one and another you have to give if you wanted to be a successful physician in India. Might be a cardiologist, nephrologist, neurologist, or oncologist. Whereas in America, you have only one exam with a good profile, you are enough to go. Only based on USMLE, you will get your postgraduate. The same scores will help you in your fellowships too. For UK, again, need to clear the specialty specific entrance exam. As I told you, MRCP for physician, MRCS for surgery, MRCR for radiology, MRCOG for obs gynae. All right, so you have to define from the day one which specialty you're targeting, and that's where you have to land up. Australia, prior 2-3 years of work experience in Australia is required to settle down there if you wanted to make your bright career. The biggest benefit of Australia is you will get PR very easily there. Okay. So permanent residency is quite easy. That's what is the attractive thing. I'm coming on that PR issues. Now Canada, limited options for IMGs. I read it, Mark, because that's what the biggest problem here. And same goes to New Zealand. PR issues, as I told you, being an Indian, we do not have much issues with this PR. Even if you are an international candidate, you can well easily, get enter into the Indian system, Indian medical system, if you are qualified with Next and this FMG. Okay. Now USA, it's quite hard to get the PR. There is a very big PR issues. You need to invest 3-4 years or 5 years of working practice in there to be eligible for that credits to apply for USA PR process. Then you have UK, that's a medium, I would say, because I have seen people settling there very easily, not on a very big hardship they have to made up. Okay. Australia, I told it's medium. Okay, it's not super easy, but it's not even super hard. Okay, it is look likely UK, but way beyond easy. We can say that. And then we have Canada, and then we have finally New Zealand. So Canada again, it's a medium one. People are going there. They are getting settled. There are a lot of Indian families working over there. But for New Zealand, the last year results is 18 by 0. 18 student applied for NZREX, that is an international examination, as an international student, and none a single student get the registered practice in authority by New Zealand government. So that's a very poor ratio, I would like to say. Now let us jump on to the next slide. So let us talk about something in terms of commercials and in something in terms of career plannings. What will happen if I join a country for my postgraduate training? So what would be my stipend during my residency or the post graduation? So in India, commonly trains start between 40,000 to 50,000 rupees, max to max. Okay. I have seen in tier 2 cities or tier 3 cities, it would be somewhat around 25,000 rupees. But tier 2 and tier 1 on a good hand cities, 40 to 50,000 is what average you will be getting it. For USA, the stipends are very luxury. They usually provide the stipend because you are at the stage of post graduation, right? And you are working in a well reputed hospital. They usually provide $5,000 a month. This is 40,000 rupees per month. Whatever I have written, that is for per month salary, or you can say stipend. So that 5,000 is equivalent to somewhat around 4.2 lakh rupees. Today's one. And then we have UK, that is $4,000. I'm again talking about US dollars. Max to max $4,000 usually you get. But for postgraduate, in UK, I told you, first you get license, do some job, and then get the PG. Okay. In America, complete MBBS, directly apply for admissions in PG. Once you get PG, the day you will be starting your salary once. So there is no breakage. Just after the graduation, the next 6 months, you'll get match. Okay. Then we have Australia, $3,000, 3,000 plus dollars. For Canada, $3,500. For New Zealand, again, somewhat around $3,000. Let us talk about the selection ratio. If I'll be choosing a country, what would be an average selection ratio nowadays? Let's say today, after this session, you will be making a decision you wanted to work only in India. Out of 10 students, one will get selection. 3 lakh applicants will be gonna sit in the competitive exam of NEET-PG, and only one student out of every 10 student will get admission. Means 30,000 clinical doctors will be there in India. Then for a clinical program, 3 is to 2, almost 65% plus. Year on year ratio is going on in USA. For UK, 4 is to 1, because what usually the students do, they might not do their postgraduate. They work commonly there in the NHS healthcare system after their license, and they'll be coming back in 3-4 years having some good amount of income, and then they'll be working in India with a good clinic settings and hospital one. Now Australia, this is again quite less. That is 5 is to 1, because it's a grooming country now. Okay, might be in future there are a lot of big schemes, big programs comes in, but the biggest challenge is the only examination, that is your clinical one. Now Canada 10 is to 3 because of non-availability, and New Zealand is commonly undefined because no such data is available. Now cost involved during the process of PG exam. So starting from today to the day of getting a PG seat, you would have to understand what would be your budget you have to make up, because might be you have already planned your budget for MBBS. Now, what will be the budget in the next 6 years you would have to make for your postgraduate training? So 5 lakhs up to 3 crore rupees is a net expenditure in India. If you are getting a government college, might be 4-5 lakh is very enough, because you'll be having a general training for the competitive exam for 1 and 2 lakh rupees, and then government PGs are very free. But privates are super, super costly. And then for America, it's 15 to 20 lakh rupees. So in America, the beauty is that the education is free of cost. Okay. They will not charge as a tuition fees the way India is charging. Okay. So education tuition fees is very free of cost. What is the 15 to 20 lakh of expenses? It is about the process, like writing the exams, getting training, getting some clinical exposure in America, flight tickets, to and fro, and further other stuffs. The same goes to UK, 30 to 35 lakh, 30 to 50 lakh rupees, because getting a license is somewhat around 8 to 10 lakh rupees is very enough for that. But getting a PG, again, getting training, doing some clinical exposure, and then might be a college which will be choosing, they'll be charging you the fees. So in that case, you might be having expenses. So that is somewhat around 30 to 50 lakh rupees. Australia 50 plus, because commonly the programs demand the tuition cost. Canada again 50 lakh plus, they do demand the tuition fees. And New Zealand is again undefined because the results are not published here. What is the future fellowship opportunities? How many of you are very well interested? I would want to have a few quick answer. How many of you are very well interested in being a fellow doctor, means cardiologist, nephrologist? What is your dream specialty you are targeting it? Quickly, quick drop a chat or drop a comment over the chat box. So, Dr. Srishan, thanks for asking a wonderful question. I'll be coming back to your answer very soon in 5-7 minutes. All right. In the meanwhile, students, kindly tell me your dream aspiration. What exactly your dream to become? What specialty you are targeting? So Akash is neurosurgery. Anyone else? There are more than 17, 18 participants out there. Roshali, Shreya, Shreya, Shashank, Kainat, Anchit, Akansha, Divya, Faraz, Feba, Shrimji. A lot of students are there. Obs Gynae, cardio, opstal, great, pediatrician. So future fellowships we are talking of. So pediatrics comes in PG. Obs Gynae comes in post graduation. Cardiology comes in super post graduation. Okay. And again, ophthalmology comes in post graduation. Again, cardiology comes in super post graduation, whereas neurosurgery comes at super post graduation. So the super post graduations, or we call it as a fellowship. So fellowships are like cardio, neuro, nephro, and this oncology, rheumatology. So these are the common specializations usually the students do. Okay. Now for fellowship options in India, there is an option. There are the future opportunities available, but they are mostly paid. Okay. Because very, very few seats are available for cardiology in India. Okay. In the government hospitals. Now, when we talk about America, they have a very well, highly equipped infrastructure with a very great opportunity. In America, there are 20,000 seats are available only for fellowships. And India, 30,000 seats for PG only. You can understand from this ratio at what extent people are, desperate to join, because they'll be getting from A to Z opportunity. Then UK limited options, because again there is an examination. Can anybody tell what is the fellowship examinations for we can say that fellowship options in internal medicine? Anybody quick answer over the chat box? What is the examination name in UK for fellowship options in internal medicine? No, DECO is not. FRCP, correct. Fellowships in Royal Colleges of Physician, FRCP. So this is an examination helps you to get the fellowship opportunity. This is another level of examination, the way we have NEET SS. For Australia, again, limited options. For Canada, obviously no such options available, even for the New Zealand, for the international graduates. So here we have a great, comparison which we had shown you and give you an understanding which career to be planned now, so that you will be having a great settlement.